Hello, greetings, everyone. You're welcome to the JMA Connections for another edition of our news updates. Today is Thursday, and this Thursday is the 11th of December 2025. And of course, I'm delighted to be here once more. And if you're just tuning in, you're onto the JMA Connections. And if you're not yet subscribed to this platform, please go right ahead and to do so, make sure you subscribe so that you will stay informed anytime something is dropped on this platform. Because on this platform, I always say, when the news breaks, we meet here to make a greater meaning out of it. I'm sure you're already aware of this development that Comrade Sisiku Julius Ayuktabe and the members of his cabinet, that's the leadership of the Southern Cameroon's liberation movement in Kondengi, who were previously sentenced to life imprisonment by the military tribunal of the Republic of Cameroon, and of course they went on appeal, and the ruling was upheld, and so the matter has been called, just so suddenly by the Supreme Court of Cameroon, and so they are expected to appear before the Supreme Court on the 18th of December 2025. And so we will be watching that development very carefully, of course, because it's a legal matter and because the matter has been lingering before the courts. I really do not want to get into any serious comments or any serious analysis about that. We'll just watch and see exactly what happens. All I like to say is let's continue to put Sisiko Julius Ayuktabe and all the members of his cabinet who are in Kondengi in our prayers, and let's continue to support them. Let's also continue to, stand firm for what we believe in. If they are still alive today, if they are still strong today, if they are still standing, it is because they've never changed their minds, they've never changed their opinions, they've never decided to renege the people of the Southern Cameroons, and our determination to get, full self-determination for the former UN Trust territory of British Southern Cameroons. So let's put them in our prayers. That said, we go over to the Republic of Cameroon, where, of course, the civilian military rule, or the military arm of that rule, because I have said here before that Bia's government is a military regime. The only thing that makes it not look like it's a military regime is because Bia himself is a civilian, but absolutely he's got into a solid partnership with the military to the point where you have that very firm conviction that the military are absolutely even the ones in charge, because every single problem that is supposed to be addressed politically through dialogue, through negotiations and the discussions, it's always, given a military solution. And you definitely have noticed some stuff that, that's how military regimes operate. They arrest people in other parts of the country where, according to the country's criminal procedure code, people are supposed to be, tried in courts in the jurisdictions where they purportedly might have, or where the offenses are supposed to have been committed. But that has completely been set aside. So if you look at the situation in Cameroon for a long time now, what has happened is that the law has simply been bypassed. So the entire country is literally like in a state of emergency. They arrest people from Yagua in the far north region, and there are law courts in Yagua. If they want to absolutely have them tried by a military tribunal, there's a military tribunal in Marua. But they will catch them, they will arrest them, they will kidnap them in Yagua and take them all the way, drive them all the way to Yaoundé and hold them in Yaoundé, far away from where they can have family or friend support, far away from where they can have any form of emotional support. That tells you that the entire country is already in a state of exception. They have been doing that for in the southern Cameroons throughout. When they arrest anybody in Boya for whatever offense, or when they kidnap anybody in Boya, in Kumba, in Bamenda, in Furawa, in Akwaya, before you know it, you are already held in Yaoundé. They give the impression that the only jurisdiction that is working is the one in Yaoundé. People have asked several questions about that, and they have not been able to get, any clear-cut answer. But the simplest answer is that that is how military regimes operate. That is how military systems work. They only believe and trust in a tribal militia, because when they are brought to Yaoundé, you are convinced, therefore, they are convinced that they will be given the kind of sentences that they want them to be given. Because 95% of those who are judges at the military tribunal in Yaoundé are Bulu Ekampeti. So it's a matter of a little clan taking an entire country hostage, because that is exactly what this is. And so I was just pointing out that that military rule is absolutely unraveling, because you see there was an incident in Douala today, and that incident, I think it's too far from over, somewhere around Dedo in Douala, where gendarmes are said to have met a group of bike riders who were standing there waiting for passengers as usual, because that's what degree holders, some of them even PhD holders, are now in that country being reduced to bike riders, commercial motorbike riders, for survival. So they're waiting to carry their passengers, and the gendarmes just get on and say, you must desert this place. And they tell the gendarme officers that that is where they have been stationing and waiting for passengers for a couple of years now. So they don't see how they will just come tell them that you must leave this place right now. That's where they ply their own trade. That's where they get their own bread. And so while they were still in this heated argument, one of the gendarme officers, just got angry, and because they are very trigger happy, pulled out his gun and shot one of the bike riders on the leg. And instantly, commercial motorbike riders are always, they have some level of solidarity among them that is unparalleled, and they operate like like bees. So before those gendarmes knew it, there was a beehive of over 800 other motorbike riders who swarmed that place. And I understand by the time they were knowing, they were trying to but as they were trying to de-escalate the situation, even far more commercial motorbike riders invaded the place, and it became really, really hot. The situation was already going off hands, because it was turning into a serious battle between the commercial motorbike riders and the gendarmes. So the situation got so bad that they had to bring in water canisters to spray water on the people, and to disperse them. They had to start spraying tear gas, and the whole place was really heating up. So I understand that the senior divisional officer for the Vuri and even the governor have all gotten involved, and they're trying to find a solution to that matter. I understand that there are going to be meetings, a lot of meetings, to try to see how to resolve the situation. But meantime, the commercial motorbike rider who was shot in the leg, I have been told, is in hospital and is receiving treatment, but he's being closely monitored. And there are fears that if his situation degenerates and something fatal happens to him, it could absolutely lead to, a more vexing situation in Douala. But you see, uh, there is always tension on the side of the government forces, because they have that firm conviction that they're living in a powder magazine. Since after the October 12th, 2025 presidential election, the peace, the calm has been really uneasy. I spoke to several people in Douala yesterday and some this morning, and they told me that every day people just keep having that feeling that something terrible is about to happen. And so a lot of people have tended to be retiring home early. Sometimes the streets are very are deserted quite early. You have those kind of weird feelings that that something is absolutely not right, but nobody can point a finger to exactly what. At the same time, up in the northern regions, the heavy duty transporters are still striking. There's been a lot of meetings going on, a lot of threats and intimidations too, once more from the government side, and the leaders of the trade unions. I mean, bringing together those heavy duty transporters, are insisting that they want to get, I mean, absolute confirmation from the government and concrete action with respect to the trucks that were destroyed, because the people must have to be compensated. They must be indemnified. That is one thing that is coming up right now, and it's really a sticky point. We know the Cameroon government never indemnifies anybody. Somewhere when the pressure will become very high, they will, I mean, siphon several billions claiming it is to do that, but the money will never get to the people who are concerned. That's number one. And then number two, the people are also still pressing that the demands that they have include even the release of their brethren, especially from the northern regions, who were arrested within the framework of protests that erupted after the proclamation of the results of the October 12, 2025 presidential election. And so I understand from some security officials that I've spoken to in Garwa and in Gaundere, and they let me know that right now the government is still very, picky in their approach or in who they really want to talk to, because they're weighing, rather using a high hand against the leaders of the transporters unions, because they're suspecting that they may be under political manipulation from the Issa Chiruma Bakari campaign, because they have determined that it will be collective punishment on the people of the northern regions. Like I said a while ago, this is absolutely, we're dealing here with a police state where every other issue that comes up, the only solution that they bring about is military brutality. Military brutality, ever more military brutality. I have been talking to, some of the security officials in Yaoundé, in Douala, and others, and they tell me, frankly speaking, the malaise is still very real. So right now, nobody knows exactly what is going on, but that the rumor as to that fact that there are people preparing for an armed insurrection is getting stronger, and so they are planning to, lead a serious stop and frisk kind of search in the cities of Douala and Yaoundé in the days ahead. So they are likely going to be, massive stop and freeze, those kind of things that they call in French language Calais Calais, that they are going to organize that in Douala and in Yaoundé, mostly targeting the homes of indigenes from the northern regions, the indigenes of the southern Cameroons in Douala and Yaoundé, because they say these are the ones who are more prone to, participate in such an initiative. They will also be hunting down the Bamileke people who are likely to be the sponsors if something like that is actually in the offing. So there is so much going on right now, folks, and I absolutely have my ears to the ground. I'll be coming up with, any fresh updates as soon as I get them. And so over in the southern Cameroons, of course, this we are in the end of year feast, and people are staying very, very vigilant with respect to the kidnapping for ransom activities of a lot of the former freedom fighters who had gone into the DDR centers and who are being removed and used by La République du Cameroun security operatives and members of the CPDM crime syndicate to try and extort money from the people, and giving the impression that this is being done by the southern Cameroon's freedom fighters. So this is something to really watch out for, and watch out for very seriously. The incident in Bamenda, too often I'm now getting, is usually really done in coordination with someone calling himself the city mayor, Achobang Paul. This Achobang Paul, I pointed out before, is absolutely the right-hand man of Paul Atanganji, and Achobang Paul is operating with the same dark strategies that Atanga Ponji is, running, and so you absolutely have to be on the watch out. And he passes around even for a pastor, that Ngaput. Yeah, it's Ngaput. That Ngaput you call Achobang Paul. That impostor you call Achobang Paul. He and all of those people call themselves mayors in Bamenda. I guess perhaps with the exception of the one of Bamenda 2, that I understand is not part of, this gang, but all the entire CPDM ring, including one Algo Oliver, one Algo Oliver, who says he's the member of parliament for Bafut Tuba. Those are the people who are actually masterminding the killing of civilians during this particular period, especially young boys. Some There are a couple of young boys who have escaped from Bafut. I'm not going to be giving their names nor the locations they have gone to. And two of them reached out to me and they said very explicitly that they are running away from Bafut because Mr. Algo Oliver, who is moving around and saying he's member of parliament for Bafut Tuba, has been struggling to hire them to operate under his own group of forces to go about kidnapping business people and collecting money because he suspects that those business people whose names he has given them are contributing to the Southern Cameroon's liberation movement. These are the criminals whom I keep pointing out and naming so that we pay specific attention to their activities. And again, Algo Oliver had literally had worked with Paul Atanganji. When you know their connections, you understand their mode of operation. This is something that we must pay very serious attention to. So that said, I want to thank all of you who were part of this news flash. I will be back here, if not today, then tomorrow. But if anything new comes up, then I'll be right back here for us to make meaning out of it together. And so if you are not yet subscribed to the JMA Connections, please do where to click on the subscribe button and personalize so that each time anything drops here, you will be the first to know. And also, make sure to share the link to this communication as much as you can. Let's continue to reach as many people as possible. Thank you very much for your very kind attention. And of course, to God and to God alone be all the glory.